Do you feel that it is slightly rich on the part of the developed world to expect a lot from leaders and countries in the global south to do more to address the issue of climate change, whereas even now as we speak, they are polluting more?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. You see, just look at the figures. And that's why, now people from the developed world become defensive when I start, when they come and meet me. Our per capita emissions are 2.19 tons per year. The world per capita emissions are 6.4 tons per year. That's per capita. So our per capita emissions are 1/3 of the global average. The per capita emissions of the developed world are 3 times to 4 times the global average. Now, what needs to be done? I mean, if you want to actually limit the global rise in temperature to 1.5 degrees or less, then the per capita consumption has to come down to 2.4 tons. We are very close to that. And the developed world has to reduce its per capita consumptions from, let's say, 18 tons or 20 tons down to 2.4. Now, that's what they have to do. But despite the fact that we are one of the lowest emitters in the world, as I said, we had pledged, what we pledged in COP21 in Paris, that by 2030 we'll have 40% of our capacity coming from non-fossil fuel sources. We achieved that in 2021, 9 years before the due date. Today, my capacity, non-fossil fuel capacity, is 43% in capacity terms, 43%. And that's why in Glasgow we upped our ambition and said that by 2030, we will have 50% of our capacity coming from non-fossil fuel sources. And believe you me, I mean, I'm very close, I'll be very close to achieving that, give a year or so. And by 2030, I will have 65% of my capacity coming from non-fossil fuel sources, because I already have about 187,000 megawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity. I have about 88,000 megawatts under construction of renewable, non-fossil, 88,000 megawatts. That's, already 276,000 megawatts, 276 gigawatts. And I have about 50 gigawatts under various, the bids, etc. So I'll cross that target. 50%, I'll reach 65%. Instead of 50%, I'll reach 65%. Emissions intensity we have reduced. We had pledged that by 2030, we'll reduce our emissions intensity by 33%, despite the fact that our emissions intensity, as I said, per capita emissions are one of the lowest in the world. And we achieved that in 2022, because we have some programs which the industry will tell you are the best in the world. Many countries came and copied our program, the program for industry, perform, achieve, trade, where we, lay down specific energy consumption reduction targets. And if you meet that, fine. If you don't meet that, you pay a penalty or you buy energy saving certificates. If you, overachieve, you get energy saving certificates.